Hello, guys. I'm here again with Mina, and we've got a special guest, Tom, down there in the bottom. How are you guys today?
Join you guys.
Good. How are you?
Oh, can't complain. We've all completed round 9 of chemotherapy, right?
Yes, sir.
And we've got, what, 3 more to go.
Yep, counting the days.
Counting the days, I think I have 33 days left. And what do you guys have left? Do you guys know?
Yeah, it's 34 for both of us, isn't it?
Yep, exactly. 34 days left.
34 days. It seems so quick. What was it? November 24th when you and me were diagnosed, Mina, and that was 135 days ago. Time just flies when I guess you're sitting at home doing nothing.
I guess time flies when you're having fun, right?
Now, Tom, you were diagnosed around the same time period, right?
I was actually diagnosed a little bit later. I think it was about 28th that I was diagnosed. But for a good 2-3 weeks, I spent myself feeling really unsure because I was told over the telephone, what we have here looks like lymphoma, but I had to wait for an appointment to get a biopsy and get the actual diagnosis. So those 2 weeks were real tough for me. It's like, do I have it? Do I not? And here I am.
And I don't know if people know, but you're actually in the UK, right? So
That's right, yeah.
You're different from Mina and I. Mina's in the States, I'm in Canada. So do you want to tell us a little bit about the process in the UK?
Well, I imagine it's different for everyone in their own ways. I've read a lot about you guys. I think your diagnosis, it took a while to come along, or you were suffering from your illnesses for a while before you realized it was Hodgkin's, right?
Yeah, I thought it was allergies at first. And
Yeah.
I thought it was everything else.
Yeah, I mean, even in the beginning, when my neck lump started coming up, it was, as you guys said, I joked about it being cancer, not expecting it to be cancer, but yeah, I was feeling fatigued for about a month, and I thought something's not right here. The neck lump's obviously like a red flag, so they went to go see it, and they told me, "Oh, we think it's you guys probably call it mono."
Mono, yeah.
Or glandular fever. So I had tests for that, and they said, "Oh, can't find any virus or anything." So I went for an ultrasound, and it was the lady there who actually told my GP, or my local doctor, shall I say, it looks like lymphoma here. No certainty, but we should get onto this. And it's thanks to her that I've at least been able to get it treated quicker.
And would you say the process from the biopsy to being diagnosed to being actually treated was relatively quickly? Because for
Yeah,
me, it was... Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, they do a lot of the work for you, shall I say. They come and tell you, I think, a week after the result of the biopsy. And they even give you the option whether you want to come in or be told over the telephone. And I said, just in case it is, I don't want to be told on the phone. So I'm going to come in, where I'm in the environment. And they've been nothing but supportive since. Here in the UK, we've got the NHS, so that's state healthcare. And I'm very grateful for it, because obviously you guys, I think, well, I don't know the situation in Canada too well, but in the United States, it's obviously a lot more complex. You need insurance and all those sort of things, right?
Yeah. In the US, we have insurance, but they only pay a certain amount. So the amount that you still have to cover is pretty significant, honestly.
Mm-hmm. And just not having to worry about your wallet, like financial worries, it's a great thing to have off your plate. Because dealing with the illness alone it's enough for all of us.
Oh, yeah. Canada's around it the same way. Like when I started, I haven't had to worry about anything. All my tests have been set up, and it really helps with the recovery process. All I have to focus on is recovering. So you had your lumps on your neck as well, right?
Yeah, I had them on this side of the neck, and I had swellings in the armpit.
Oh, so you're the
Um,
exact same as me. I had them in the armpit first, and they moved up to the neck.
mhm. On the left side. But when I had my PET scan done, they found some small ones on the right side of my neck as well, which meant I had what's called an early unfavorable diagnosis because it was in 3 different sites.
Now, unfavorable, I know unremarkable means good. Is unfavorable good as well, or do you know?
Unfavorable is, well, it's less good, shall I say, because obviously the more sites that you've got it in, the more spread it is. I don't know if you guys use the term over in Canada or the United States, but unfavorable tends to mean either it's got plenty of sites or it's bulky. Favorable would just mean it's limited to small nodes in your neck or in your armpit.
Interesting, because I was diagnosed with bulky, so
Mhm.
I got the big lumps, I guess you'd say. So a lot has happened since our last infusion, right? Like what we've had Easter in there. How are you guys feeling? Did you guys back to normal already, or?
I think for me, today's really the first day that I started feeling back to normal.
Yeah.
I think the recovery, is taking longer with each session. And honestly, I think we talked about this last time. I've noticed it's very unpredictable.
Hmm.
Some sessions I've walked out, and the first session I walked out and I felt fine. You
Yeah.
know, and then session number 4, I was wiped out for the full 2 weeks.
Wow.
Now, Mina, I watched your latest YouTube video, and you actually purchased a bell for your cancer clinic. What was that like? Can you tell us a little bit?
It was a good feeling, honestly. It
Yeah.
was a really good feeling. Some people don't actually know this. So I'm gonna explain what the cancer bell is.
Yeah.
Because when I first brought it up to a few people were like, wait, what's the cancer bell? I don't even know what that is. A cancer bell is pretty much a bell that's rung by cancer patients to signify either the end of a very harsh treatment or the end of their treatment altogether. And so some people, unfortunately, their treatment really never ends. So they just finish a harsh portion of their treatment and then they go on maintenance chemo for a duration of time. So, one of my first sessions at the infusion center that I went to in the hospital, I asked them the question, do you guys have a cancer bell? And so, they said, we've been talking about it for a long time, but no, we've never really gotten around to it. It's not something we have here, and we would have to get some like approvals. So I went ahead and got in contact with my oncologist and the charge nurse, and I asked them if they could push for those approvals because I wanted to get one for the hospital. And so I got it. Fast forward to when I ordered the bell and I received it. The last session, I actually brought it in with me, and it was such a rewarding feeling. All the nurses loved it. They all came into the room. Definitely, probably shouldn't have that many people in one room, to say the least. But they all kept on coming in. They kept on looking at it. I think my favorite part is I actually got like a plaque on it. And it has like an engraving with, my personal message to the next person that rings that bell. So not gonna bore you with the details, but it's nice to know that when I'm done and when I leave that place, I'm gonna be leaving something behind that means a lot to me and hopefully can resonate with other cancer patients.
I'm gonna link your latest video down in the description down below. That bell is really nice. Like
No,
it really turned out amazing.
it's I wish I could show you guys in person. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. Now, some of us had Easter, what was it, a week ago?
Yep.
And Tom,
Sounds about right, yeah.
you sent me a picture of a cake.
Yeah.
Did you make that cake? That cake is amazing.
Yeah, I did make it. It was 2 different layers of Madeira sponge, and then an excuse to buy all sorts of chocolates and just put it on the top. Baking is something I like to do, and definitely now, while I'm having treatment, is a good opportunity to do some home baking. I don't know if that interests you guys at all, but it's a great pastime.
I have actually been watching Nailed It on Netflix like no tomorrow. Now that actually brings up a great subject: common misconceptions about cancer. So that cake full of sugar, correct?
Absolutely.
Now, have you guys heard that sugar causes cancer? And like, what common misconceptions have you guys thought about cancer? And now that
Well,
you're living it, are completely not reality.
yeah, well, Jesse, just to jump in there,
Yeah.
if you actually Google it, everything causes cancer. The
Oh,
sun
yeah.
causes cancer, water bottles cause cancer. So unless you live in a bubble, everything's gonna cause cancer. But I did hear that misconception, and I actually looked into it. And the reason that they say that sugar causes cancer is because cancer cells require sugar to grow, just like every other cell in your body.
Mm.
So I don't know how much merit there is to that. But I think that, like you said, there's a lot of misconceptions. All of my misconceptions were on how chemotherapy would be like. We talked about this last time, but I mean, we've all seen the movies. It does not look enjoyable, to say the least, which it's not. But it's definitely a lot. Um, with the medicine nowadays, I think it's a lot easier than how it's depicted in the movies. I think it's very challenging still, but it's come such a long way.
It's a lot easier to cope with some of the symptoms too with modern medicine, right? Like if you have a symptom of soreness, there's pills you can take to make the soreness go away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I when I thought cancer, I thought I was going to be bald, skinny, frail, weak. I tired all the time. But it's like that for a few days. But most of the time, I'm bored, right? Like most of the time, I'm trying to find something to do. The only thing that really took me by surprise, though, was the amount of confusion and forgetfulness from chemotherapy, which I don't. Do you guys experience that at all, or
Yep.
I did.
just the amount of confusion? It's really weird how it hits you out of nowhere too. Like the other day, I was thinking of an animal, and the one with the horn on it, the one with the horn on its head.
Unicorn.
No, not a unicorn. That's what I was
No?
trying to describe, but it was actually a rhinoceros. But for the life of me, I couldn't think of rhinoceros, and every time I was thinking about it, I was thinking hippopotamus.
Eh.
So like I had the picture of a rhino in my mind, but the word coming to my mind was hippo, right? That's surprising to me, right? Yeah. What about you, Tom? What do you think of some expectations versus realities? Like
Well, my expectations of chemo itself was pretty much similar to you, Jesse. You see in films, and unfortunately, I've seen relatives who have gone under chemotherapy, and they're just not in a well state, simply. I mean, none of us are well anyway, but you can tell when someone's really looks like they're struggling, the great amount of difficulty that they have just doing simple tasks, getting up. But for us, it's not been the same. It's obviously a few days you will feel a bit fatigued, but like yourself, I'm able to go out for walks, runs. Mina's able to pump iron. It's not as bad as it's depicted, essentially.
yeah, like I thought it was all doom and gloom, and it's not that bad. But again, we're on a different regiment, right? Like I imagine a lot of chemotherapies are really hard on the body, but like we're almost fortunate in a way that we're all on AVBD, right?
That's right.
Minus the B.
AVD.
BioCop, were you offered BioCop down in the UK? Is that it? BioCop?
Cop, yeah. That regimen generally isn't given straight away. They tend to give you ABVD here, and then depending on how you respond, you will either be given Bayacop if your what's called the interim PET scan is if the response isn't sufficient, then they'll put you on Bayacop. If is sufficient and they're happy with the result, they use the word remission already after the mid PET scan. So they reduce the bleomycin, and yeah, we're on AVD since.
So it's yeah, with the bleomycin in it, it's really, I found it a lot easier.
That's interesting because I haven't found it much different, to be honest.
You don't find you bounce back a little bit easier?
No, I think my reactions have been the same. Obviously, I don't want it anyway because the long-term effects of it are nasty. But in the short term, now I don't feel like I'm doing any better now on AVD than I did with ABVD.
Interesting.
Just me.
Everybody's different, right? Like some people get the headache symptoms or side effects, and some people are completely fine. Like it's really a roulette wheel when you comes to side effects and symptoms with everything. It's hit and miss for most people. Now, you're a lot younger than Mina and I. How
21.
21, yes. How has cancer affected you differently, if that makes sense? Like 21, you're supposed to over here you get drunk every night and go out partying.
As it's UK culture to get pissed, yeah. To be honest, I don't think being 21 makes it much different from, how old are you guys? 30 or 28?
I'm 31, so I'm 10 years older than you.
Okay, but I think either way, having Hodgkin's lymphoma, it's taken us by surprise. Like regardless of the 10-year gap, I didn't think I would have to start worrying about cancer until I was in my 50s, truthfully. It's not something I mentally prepared myself for. It's just with cancer, you know every now and then someone gets it young and you feel sorry for them, but you just have this expectation of, or I did at least, it's not going to happen to me, and well, here we are. Obviously, addressing the drinking issue, we're not allowed to drink alcohol. I'm not. So there goes my UK citizenship. But
I'm sure they'll give it back.
Yeah, but the pubs are all closed anyway. I think Biscuits made a good point in the server there, being that having the COVID lockdown is you're not really missing out on much anyway. So
no, yeah, last week Mina and I were talking about it. It's kind of a blessing in disguise, right? Like everybody's masked up, so we don't have to worry about the common cold.
Yeah.
People are being restricted over here in places, so like we don't have to worry about the stuff that could be deadly to us, right?
Yeah, because not only COVID, like colds, as you say, is a hell of a lot more dangerous to us, and just when there's less of it around, that plays to our benefit.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I made a big problem when I first started, whenever it was first diagnosed, as I Googled absolutely everything. And looking at it now, I think Google as the devil. No matter what I do, when I Google something, it comes back negative, and it's quite scary, right? Like, have you guys fallen down the trap of Google?
Yeah, I mean, Google, it's a black hole. You know, especially if you Google, I don't know if you did this, but I Googled lump on my neck.
Yeah.
Could be your thyroid. It could be a million things. You know, and obviously I saw Hodgkin's lymphoma or cancer at the top, but like you said, very quickly to dismiss it. Oh, can't, you know, it can't be cancer. You know, they'll tell you everything is cancer. And then you look at everything else and then you find something that's probably, you know, that could be even worse or that could stay with you for life. And then you're like, wait, maybe I have that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a black hole. You know, at one point I had to put a rule to myself that I'll let the doctors do their job and I'll let them diagnose me rather than trying to diagnose myself.
Yeah. I've completely stopped Googling stuff because it sends me down a wormhole of
Yeah.
despair, I guess you'd say. I don't know. It's bad. So I play stupid with everything because it's a lot easier than terrifying myself, right?
Yeah, exactly. You just have to, I mean, everything in life, you just have to take it as it comes.
Yeah.
You know, you can't always try to predict what the worst case scenario is gonna be and what it's gonna be like before you've even gotten there. So just take it as it comes, you know, and adapt, you know.
Okay.
Day
Cool,
at a
guys.
time, yeah.
So we're almost done.
Question I wanted, sorry.
Oh yeah,
Go
go ahead.
A question I wanted to address you guys was, had you heard of Hodgkin's lymphoma before your diagnosis?
Yes, I have actually.
You had, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good question. So I've heard of the term, but I actually did not know it was cancer. So I thought it was a disease, Hodgkin's disease. I thought it was just like a normal disease, and I thought it was developed and it was lifelong. So I really didn't know the details behind it until I really started doing some research.
Mhm.
And like you said, I had that expectation that I was gonna be skinny and bald, and really not knowing what's to come. I thought it was gonna be 6 months or however many months of treatment, and it was gonna be misery. I thought I was gonna be puking, you know, every day.
Mm.
So I think, like I said, you just have to take it as it comes, adapt. Because I know for me, I remember a distinct moment after my diagnosis. I was actually in Marshall's, and I was hanging out with my cousins before my first treatment, and I had like a little bit, I guess, of an anxiety. I don't want to say attack, but I had a little bit of anxiety. I was like, you know, I wanted to get new gym clothes. Surprise, right? And I was like, should I buy a medium? Do I get a large? You know, am I gonna be skinny? Do I buy hats? Do I start looking at hats right now? You know, and for me, the only thing that's happened to my hair, it's really just thinned out. So you know, it's not great. But you know, I didn't lose all my hair like I thought I would. You know, and even
Likewise here.
had I did, it would come back. What is it?
Likewise here, sorry, I was saying my hair's
Oh, yeah,
thinned
good.
out as well. Still got a fair bit, but thinned out.
Yeah.
Mine's gone with the wind.
Whew.
Jeez.
I used to have a big beard.
Mm.
That was the first to go, but yeah, it is what it is, right? Like you'll lose your hair, you might not lose your hair, but eventually it's going to grow back, right? We're looking at 6 months to a year, right? Depending, and then it's all over, right?
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to go back to when I was asking about you guys whether you'd heard of Hodgkin's lymphoma. I hadn't before, truthfully. Going back again, when I was told over the phone, this looks like lymphoma, I didn't know what lymphoma was. I thought, that sounds kind of serious when I was told. And then touching the Google issue again, when I looked up on Wikipedia what lymphoma was, you see that dreaded C word, cancer. Yeah. And that's when my heart really dropped. And I think it all kind of ties in to what the expectations are of chemotherapy. When you hear the word cancer or you see it, it's such a powerful word. It's really one of those words that as a society, we kind of fear the most, you know. You hear someone else has got cancer, and a lot of my friends and family were shocked by it because of my age. And I imagine for you guys as well, like your relatives and that were shocked that you had to deal with something at this age. And a lot of people have told me they don't really know kind of what to expect, because when I've told them, oh, I've got cancer, they don't know how I'm going to be like, you know. They think, oh, he's done for. But with Hodgkin's, it's really not the case. And any lymphoma, it's really not the case.
Yeah, it's from the research I did before, it's very treatable, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's like expectations versus reality, what we were talking about earlier. Like we all expected one thing and we got something different, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's given me a different perspective on the whole thing, though. That's for sure. Right?
Definitely.
I don't know if your guys' perspective on cancer has changed, but like it's not doom and gloom, right?
I think the average person has the idea of doom and gloom when it comes to cancer, though.
With
Someone
modern,
who's never had to deal with it.
with modern medicine, though, I don't.
Oh yeah, well, it's been, we've learned since that obviously lymphoma is definitely treatable, but it's just my knowledge beforehand, before I was, given this diagnosis. I thought that most cancer cases weren't really, favorable. That's just something that I had as like an expectation, and that's why it hit me so hard when I first read that word, lymphoma. But yeah, as we said, not the case.
Not the case. So, guys, we have just over 30 days left. 3 treatments.
Yes, sir.
I'm going back very soon. I think I have a week left before my next infusion. Do you guys got any crazy plans? You guys gonna do anything? You guys just gonna enjoy the weather? How is the weather down there?
It's beautiful here in Boston. We
Yeah,
have the sun out all day. For us, it's warm, but warm is like 50, 60 degrees, and that's warm enough for me. What about you, Tom?
Here in the UK, it's typically like changing every single day. I think the other guys on the Discord server can agree with me, but we had beautiful weather on the Easter weekend, really sunny, warm, and then we had snow come in like a day or two after, and
really.
it's just been kind of sunny and cold since. But yeah, lovely otherwise.
Wow, that's crazy. What about you, Jesse?
Oh, I'm gonna enjoy the weather. 20 degrees here, which I believe is around 60, 68.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty warm, and
Yeah.
I'm enjoying getting out walking and getting some exercise in. But guys, it's been great. I think this is a perfect spot to end this talk. Tom, it was great having you.
Thank you for letting me join.
Oh,
great.
anytime. Anything you want to say before?
Not off the top of my head, but
No
no
philosophical quote?
no
Or...
great quotes from me, I'm afraid. No.
Well, it's been great, guys. As always, I enjoy talking to you. You guys have made this experience a whole lot better.
Yep.
Definitely. Actually, I can think of something to say. I just want to say thank you to Krabby and Mike America, is it called, for creating the community which we've all met up on. Just having those other people to, really understand how you're feeling, just makes so much difference, because you can talk to your friends in real life and they'll go, oh, I hope you're okay, but they won't truly, understand what it is you're going through. And having you guys and the people on the server there, it means a lot to me. I'm sure it does to you guys.
Yes, it's good to know that there's somebody there that understands the way you're feeling, right?
Definitely. And that's why I'm grateful. So thank you.
And Jesse, on that note, I do want to thank Tom for inviting me to that group. So I think, to your point, Tom, it is very isolating. going through this, and you try to hang on to the things that make you happy. For me, that's working out. But that's not, sometimes the only thing you need is just some sort of companionship of people that truly understand what you're going through, you know? And then you could vent, you can let it all out, and you have someone there that's not just, oh, I'm sorry you have to go through this. It's, I understand what you're going through.
You have a judgment-free support group, right?
Exactly.
You can say what you want. You can have the feelings which you want, and nobody's going to judge you at the end of the day because they know what it's like.
Yep.
But guys, pleasure as always. Great talking to you. I'm excited to see what happens with us next.
Awesome. Thank you for having us on.
Yes, take care,
Thank you.
guys.
Bye, Jesse.